live on Facebook, Twitter. Give it a sec for YouTube. We are live on everything. Yes, we are live.
Hello everybody. Good evening. Happy Wednesday, the 29th. Wow, days aren't real anymore. Hi, my name is Javi, and I'd like to welcome you to the Berkeley Virtual Poetry Slam, happening every Wednesday on the Wednesday. One of these days I will put a speaker up and have some blaring game show music or something. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. But for now, I would like you to enjoy my amazing virtual background that I figured out how to use. If any of you are real life patrons of the Berkeley Slam in real life, you'll notice that this is the background that people usually smoke behind or in front of during the breaks. And it's nice, just pretend it's a nice, brisk, summer evening and everything's normal. People are smoking, COVID doesn't exist. You still have a rot relationship with your parents, but it's fine because you're not scared they're gonna die of some virus. Anyway, I would like to welcome you to the Slam. Now, for those of you watching who have never been to a Slam before, first of all, wow, amazing introduction to a Slam. I would like to welcome you. Second of all, usually it's more in real life than this, but we can all pretend. A slam is a place where we take poetry that people write or memorize, which I don't understand how that works, and they say it out there, and we have judges that give them numbers. It's like if you went to the bank and you said, this is what I think my bank account should be, and the teller was like, no, it's actually this. So we judge based on what we think it is. But remember, poets, everything that you've written is your own work, and it's important and it's necessary and all that magic, amazing stuff. Okay, so I got some rules for the audience. Audience, this is usually the time I would say it's time to silence your cell phones, but you guys could do whatever you want. Listen on something on TV, play Animal Crossing, talk to someone on the phone. You know, just you watching this stream is you being present, which is fierce. Love that, amazing. Also, random etiquette for a regular slam. If something really reaches down to your soul and makes you feel something, feel free to snap or say go in or say yes, work, fierce. I mean, we're not going to hear it or see it, but we'll feel it. You know, we'll feel it in here. I promise you we will. And also maybe your neighbors will feel it and think, who is this person that's screaming next door? I don't know. That's your issue. Okay, poets, I have some rules for you. Poets have 3 minutes and 10 seconds to say whatever they want. Any original work that they deem poetry, it's all fair game. You just say it. There's no props though. There's no music that comes with it. There's no juggling. There's no animal accompaniment. Just you, your voice, and your hand gestures if you're really into that. As you can see, I'm also really into that. And yeah, if you manage to go past 3 minutes and 10 seconds, you will be docked score points by our scorekeeper, Soph. Don't worry, judges will do the math for you. And if you manage to go above 4 minutes, usually you'll be played off stage by our DJ, but instead you will just be muted. So if you ever see someone talking and all of a sudden their stuff cuts out, it's either a bad internet connection or they've been going on for a little too long. If you notice that you've been going on for a little too long, then that's kind of the reason. It's okay, we'll coach you through it. We love it. We love your words, just not too much of your words. Okay, now I got some rules for the judges. Judges are going to be scoring each poem from a scale of 0.0 to 10.0. 0.0 meaning it's the worst poem that you have ever heard. It's the worst thing you've ever heard. It's so bad you wish you like didn't ever hear it ever. And not only that, but just wiped out everything you've ever heard in your life just because it was so horrible. This poem kind of like punched you in the face. This poem told you your mom was ugly, and suddenly any qualms you had with your mom was thrown away because this person just told you your mom was ugly, and that's messed up. You don't say that. A 10.0 is the best thing you've ever heard. It's so amazing you wish you never heard anything else other than poem for the rest of your life. Your life starts now because this poem was so great. It changed you. It's like your mom was no longer your mom, but that poem was the thing that birthed you. Ooh, come on, go in, poet. Let's snap. Let's go in. Okay, so needless to say, there's not a lot of zeros, there's not a lot of tens. The important thing is to stay consistent, okay? Judges, throughout the night, you might want to score higher. And sure, if you think the poetry is getting better, do that, but just try to be as fair and consistent as possible for the poets. Okay, got through all the rules, did all of that, amazing, great, okay. Who's ready to start the show? Okay, So our poets will be going in this order. We have True Rebel, Dog Days Are Over, Reggie, Trillery Swank, Bambi, Tino, Anna Allen, Chardonnay, Jesse, Claire Lord, Lyrical Faith, and Bijan. Please give it up for each of our poets. But before we start the show, we need a little sacrifice, a little spilling of the blood, a little calibration. We need a poet to come up to the stage that isn't doing it for the points or the money or the glory. They're doing it because I asked them very nicely and they like me very much. There's someone that can help the judges calibrate their poems. Whatever you grade this poet, judges score higher or lower based on if you like the poems afterwards higher or if you don't like them as much. Okay, so on deck, that means coming up next. Okay, remember that, poets. On deck, we have our first poet of the slam, True Rebel. But coming up to the stage, please welcome former Berkeley Slam hostess with the mostest, Jazz Sufi.
Have the floor, Jazz.
Everybody. New shit. Poem in the voice of 30 to 50 feral hogs. We tusky bitches. We a leather-backed legion. You bacon-wrapped and soft-toothed. All those locks and walls and no hooves. We so wretched, we wreck your rhyme scheme. Go grunt instead of oink. Growl and snarl, even our squeal too sharp when shot. Can't you just Christmas ham, you ask? Fit inside my sandwich? Wake up and find your flower beds butchered by our mercy. We meal makers, we find flavor in any mouthful. Your small kids, seasoning themselves in the sandbox, looking at each other instead of the rest of the yard. Your gun more their daddy than their daddy. Can't even forage your own fear. Hand-me-down hung up dusty on the mantle. Dust will we disturb just by breathing. Our breathing keeping up your kids, your small kids, pink and hairless, tremor and tender. Your kids in danger, our kids in danger, invasive, insatiable. Our kids hungry for your kids' dinner. How young is too young to die? You kill our kids, but won't even eat the meat. Say it sours the stomach, leave their small shadows to stain your lawn. We mourn meal. We make more. You say feral, like we stepped out of our lane. You tame and still untrained. We evolutionary and you in our way. Do our numbers scare you? Millions of targets that won't run when you shoot. You can't even count how many directions we're coming from. Call us a sounder, something louder. Call our killing a culling. Try to hunt us. We eat bullets like you.
Give it up for Sacrifice Jazz Sufi. Judges, please pull up your scores. I have, do we got any scores tonight? I have 1 score. I have 2 scores. Okay, we got 2 scores, 2 scores. I have 3 scores. Can I get my 4th score and 5th score? I have 4 scores, and can I get my 5th score? I have 5 scores. Okay, from a low to a high, judges, let them know. We have a 6.8, goes up to a 7.1, an 8.0, a 9.0, and a 9.7. Give it up for the poet, not the points.
Were y'all listening to the poem? What the hell?
Ooh. I am the host and I have to stay unbiased, but it is not unbiased of me to say that the last poet that just went is a poet. Okay, moving on with the slam. On deck, we have Dog Days Are Over, but coming up to the stage, give it up for our first poet, True Rebel.
You need to start your video, True Rebel.
Look here. With Peppa Pig waiting for our next poet.
We also can't hear you. Okay, yeah, we can see you now. And you have the floor. Your mic's muted.
day.
Okay, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Okay.
All right.
Untitled conclusion. Never thought this would turn out to be really hard enough to avoid. But one thing is for sure, I won't stay stuck in this illusion that one day there will be a next time, and we both know that no matter where we are now, there will be no next time. Even those things that change between us, we see not as change, closer than ever, but not as close as we want it to be. I guess I gotta let things be. But just the way things are now, just two people looking to escape from this position we're in, even though you juggle from one person to another, and I didn't want no more serious entanglements. But no matter how hard I try to get away from you, you're becoming hard to avoid. Or maybe I just can't let go. Know that we both can't say what we both said. We can't lose each other, but that wouldn't be easy for days to weeks and months without thinking of you, calling you or texting you, coming by to see you. Since you're with other people, you don't care that I'm gone. You probably wouldn't care, like I said before. Can't have again if you're not worth holding on to. I guess I gotta let things be. A random thought, a conclusion, an unwanted delusion. Even when there are times that I want you or you want me, it won't be that simple because all we see is each other. It's just people that should be letting each other go. Even when we still loved each other and I did love you, it wasn't supposed to be that hard because we both wanted this and deserved this. Even you is not enough. Just the point I'm trying to know where we stand now is this has a ground to stand on. And if you still want to be there, it's not that simple. If I wanted the same thing with you, and I hated was the times that we only been closer after we both left each other. I'm back into the land of non-existence. Hated the fact that I wanted someone that wanted to go this far with this charade. I don't know what this will believe, but maybe I do. I guess I gotta let things be. As I would say, have me crazy trying to keep up with the charade, but a time where I say how far you have me going. I know that I have me going on with you is serious, but the question is, will this stay serious? I knew from day one when I wanted, and even then I wanted one thing, which is hell no. I wanted you, but I can't because you still got there for other people, and I think we should both go different ways. And even though the way, the truth is, I gotta let things be, which is easily pushed out of my mind. Question I wonder want answers to yet again. I don't need this, and I don't think I ever will. Every time, to be real, of course I'll love for the from this day. And even as a friend of maybe more, but I gotta say, where it needs to be, we should stay there. Maybe I'm just exaggerating, never wasted so much trying to figure out where we are now or where we go from here. Remember this, even though what happens in the long run, I won't go anywhere because it won't make sense to me to just walk away. Or maybe I'm just exaggerating again. What to know is I won't stay in this illusion for long, and it's time to say goodbye. Only you and me could decide. Guys gotta let things be, whatever they could be at this very moment. I'm done.
Ooh, give it up for the poet. Judges, please hold up your scores, please. I have 1 score. Can I get 2 scores? 3 scores. Okay, keep those scores up. 4 scores. Can I get my 5th score, please? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the scores are switching around. Okay, 5 scores. Okay, so we have a low of a 5.5, a 5.5, a 6.2, a 7.2, and a 7.5. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay. Or, react how you will. I will react unbiasedly by saying, on deck, we have our 3rd poet, Reggie, but coming up to the stage, give it up for our next poet. Dog days are over.
You have the floor.
All right,
We can hear you too. So yeah.
cool. This is, and by shit, I mean shit. November 2019. I witnessed news falling dead away into my heart-soiled palms. 38-year-old man arrested in connection with hidden cameras at UCSC. electronic eyes hidden in co-ed farm apprenticeship showers. I'm reminded why my 15-year-old sister must carry a taser and pepper spray with her attending San Francisco Art School. She's a bold, kaleidoscopic, cunning fox in the city of hungry wolves with human hands for paws, armored with Zeus's electric pink instrument and inferno aerosols of fiery crimson liquid pepper. And by pepper, I mean vigor and blemish. And by pepper, I mean assail and bombardment. And by that, I mean my sister will always have to be more dexterous fox than cannibal wolf. Carnivorous in all ways, she lives in the blemished sister's grim fairy tale. I clean a toilet peppered in dark yellow piss and imagine the jerk's eyes thinking someone else will appreciate they don't have to worry about turning bathrooms into a more colorful place to shit. And by shit, I mean just discharging all the undigested patriarch in me to leave me a cleansed body, a filtered cell and pestled mortar. And by shit, I mean the nonsense of this piss amber confetti bullshit. And by shit, I mean shit. And by shit, I mean the man's soul who made clothless, consentless girls the stars of his sickening show. And by pepper, I mean pepper roots grown in my gardening job, rooted to the farming women and how they remind me of cunning foxes too, rooted in how they're forced to be shapeshifter, the nicknamed sinful witches, rooted in rotted zombie roots of macho bullshit, tainting this world's stagnating veins. And by shit, I mean, even when I smell toxic masculine shit, I don't witness the entire blood-curdling panorama of misogyny because other men baptize me in piss pools of machismo and said, Hector, I now baptize you in the name of the male preacher, the hot, hollow male son, and the male Holy Spirit, for forgiveness of your boys will be boys' sins, and the unwarranted gift of the Holy Spirit crucified my every shape-shifting limb to worship a dead macho god before I revived my divinity of hold the fuck up. Didn't know that was never sacrilege, was never shit. And by shit, I mean how even when I spit into this piss pool, the body of this torrent piss ocean is still unblemished, carnal wolf. And by shit, I mean I should not silence my holding hungered wolves accountable. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, please show me your scores. Okay, judges, come on. Oof. Amazing. Okay, so we have one score, got two scores. We have three scores. Can I get my fourth score? Okay, so we have a low of a 6.8, goes to a 7.4, a 7.8, a 9, and oh, I forgot, sorry, there was an 8.1. Sorry, that was out of order, but it's okay. We don't always get it all right. Us gays and our math, we know it. My gosh. Woo. Amazing
Wow.
slam so far, everyone. Okay, so on deck, we have Trillery Swank, but coming up to the stage, give it up for our next poet, Reggie.
Reggie, you have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Lit. Black folks always gotta be perfect. Be big smiles, but small hair. Gotta have a little bit of heat, but not enough to burn the hand that pays you. You see, we always call ourselves roses, but some days I wanna burn away my petals and become just the thorns. Become a weapon, sharpening my teeth against any white man that tries to test me, but to be Black is to swallow yourself for a motherfucking paycheck. It's to sell your humanity for rent money, cause yeah, that whole Jennifer from 2 offices over is low-key racist. But activism ain't gonna pay your bills. You can't even light a candle with the fire in your belly when they cut the lights off. White tears be too salty to keep a nigga hydrated when they take the water too. So sometimes survival is in your oppression. Like I'm tired of white folks asking to touch my hair while I am taking phone calls at work. I'm tired of my rap music being called too loud when they've been blasting Taylor Swift all day, but I am more tired of skipping lunch, of hopping BART home, of bargaining with a bus driver for an almost free ride, and of the way he pities me because he knows how tough it is to be Black in the workplace too. Sometimes silence is the only thing between me and a casket complacency, the only thing keeping me off these streets. Some days I want to trade in my Black power fist for a golden noose just to keep food on the table. Other days I want to sit at my desk and scream at the top of my lungs, but I quiet my earthquake of a voice before a white woman can complain about the way it shook the room. And Dan calls me by the wrong name again, and I have to stop myself from reminding him exactly who the fuck I am, because I am someone's employee before I am myself. I am my own death before I am a revolution, and someone will rename my ghost and give it my position. And look how grateful they expect me to be now that I have left a legacy for them to exploit too. Like it is the Negro's job to bow at master's feet and give up all of ourselves only to be left with scraps of our identities. Like I should be grateful that he handed me back anything at all, and I can't even say shit about it because a white man signs my check. So it is a white man who decides how many nights I will go to bed hungry this week. So yes, today I am perfect. I wake up early to prepare myself for work. I don fresh flowers in my hair. Watch me swallow my voice to fit within a white man's palms without bleeding. Watch him devour the rest of me and line his pockets with my bones.
Give it up for the poet judges. Give me your scores, please, judges.
Don't
Give me
fuck
your
it up.
scores. Okay, I got 1 score. I got 2 scores. Can I get a 3rd score? I got 4 scores. I got 5. Wait, yes, I got 4 scores. Can I get my 5th score? Okay, can you hold it? Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so I got all 5 scores from a low to a high. Let them know, audience. We got an 8.1, an 8.4, an 8.6, a 9.5, and another 9.5. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay. Woo! How's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? All that chakras floating from all this energy, feeling it through your body. Oh my gosh, chakra, a Naruto background. Javi, how did you know? Ugh. Woo! Okay, I just want to remind everybody to stay hydrated. If we were at our usual venue, the Starry Plow, I would say grab a beer or a drink. My preferred one is Modelo. And no, I didn't have a bartender give it to me, but I pretended to, and I left a tip at my fridge. Okay, so coming up on deck, we have Bambi, but please, coming up to the stage, give it up for Trillery Swain.
I do not see you, Trillery. What is your name on Zoom?
Well, since I'm still here, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
What is your name? What is your name on Zoom? I cannot find you.
Oh, shoot.
I still cannot find you.
Uh-oh.
What is your name on Zoom?
They wrote it in the comment section.
Oh, okay. You have the floor.
Hey, guys. All right. Men spread through Manhattan. Men spread through Manhattan, demanding space, room between needs, between these thighs of entitlement, like great pillars that meet at groin, boy, toying with us with that lust language, that hush language that I'm gonna heap what you just said and present it as an original thought. Men spread through Manhattan, demanding space, room between nouns, between persons, between places, between things of entitlement, like great peelers that greet our loins growing with that lust, that bust, that gust of wind, that grind that binds feet where mind meets, that heat that seeks, that seeps through sheets of paper, the flavor we smoke in the air, them nouns, them sounds that pound like door knocker, like white elbow into black passenger, this my space, this my waist, this my train, this my country. this person's places and things, this man spread, this manscape, this man's space, this man's pace. Ain't no place for this woman's worth. Ain't no place like this woman's worth, like this woman worthy of sitting here. Men, man spread through Manhattan, where the snow don't stick, holding our futures in ballpoints like the tip of prepubescent pics. Oh, how I dreamed of getting picked. But I ain't cotton, but I ain't guitar string, but I ain't your prickly pear. You can't beat me. I ain't no snare. I ain't no snare. I ain't no snare. I ain't your sister. I ain't your queen. I ain't your person, place, or thing. I ain't the person to place your thing. I ain't ellipses between knees. I am the salt that melts the snow. Didn't you know, man? I caused that white snow to sink like sand. Bigger balls than you pretend to have on trains, and bigger brains that I can sit while I stand. Man, your name and the borough don't make it yours. No matter how high the glass ceiling or revolving doors, man spread through Manhattan to overcompensate for a power they don't have that a woman always will. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, give me your scores, please. Judges, scores, please. I have 1 score. I have 2 scores. I have 3 scores. Can I get my 4th and my 5th scores? 4 scores, and then I'm just waiting on my 5th score. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 scores. Okay, so from a low to a high, let them know we have 8.0, followed by an 8.0, followed by an 8.2, an 8.3, and a 9.6. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Wow, amazing poetry tonight, everybody. Remember, if you're watching this at home through any of our feeds, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, make sure to hashtag any of your comments or posts with hashtag Berkeley Slam, one word. Thanks for tuning in. Amazing, great. Okay, on deck, we have our next poet, Tino, but coming up to the stage, give it up for Bambi.
You have the floor.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Loving in quarantine looks a lot like drunk nights crying together in an empty apartment. No concept of time, dancing in the living room to the sound of Come On Eileen, blasting loud enough we know the neighbors are dancing too. Or nobody wants to knock on the door of the Black girl in the building. Either way, we dance and we drink and we cry and we are hysterical, aren't we? And we are getting closer than I ever anticipated. Being Black in quarantine looks a lot like, does a mask really keep you safe? Does it push off one problem to foreshadow another? It looks like neighbors watch me at my door. Me fiddling with my keys, face covered, they clutch their phones, ready to pounce, looks like suspicion. And they only turn away when I turn the key. Being queer in quarantine looks like, that alliteration sounds cool, but isn't really. Until you walk around your apartment naked, no judgment, hairy everything. Kind of feels like I can exist in my own body. Feels like wearing a mask with no wig prompts people to get my pronouns right. Being a Black queer in love with a white boy in quarantine looks like, will he ever know what it's like for the world to question his existence, or no suspicion in the eyes of passers-by, or have to mourn his own community's identities being targeted and killed off for the very things we are loving through? And the answer is no, but his embrace feels soft, and we are getting closer than I ever anticipated. And I put honey in my tea now. I don't think I ever really liked honey. Honey always made my tea taste like honey. When I just wanted my Earl Grey to be less bitter without taking away the kick, the punch, the dark. Loving in quarantine does feel dark. And I'm glad nobody has ever had the audacity to name me honey or sweet. Anybody who thinks I'm sweet has not really met me. Direct and quick to not feel a damn thing. I am brown sugar in the raw. I can pour some of me into you and leave parts of me behind. See, passion has never been glazed. I serenade the savory, leave bodies in my poems. See, passion has never been clean. And this is all too apparent in quarantine when identity becomes a thing between you and your God. Nobody to shout into except yourself. Nowhere to feel and grieve and reminisce except in front of each other. Loving has begun to look like pouring all of myself into the dark to try to make it sweet. I've never really liked honey, sweet, sticky, fixed form to whatever tries to contain it. I pictured bees, sting, buzzing, afraid of my big human hands, but he is a lot like honey. And he, unlike me, is not afraid, and that in itself is privilege. But being in love in quarantine looks like laying with privilege, looks like we are getting closer than I've ever anticipated. I've always been a whole 6 feet away from vulnerability. I have no business getting close, but this looks like honey and black tea. And I don't know what to do when I'm ordered to stay home, and home starts to look a lot like him.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, scores, please. Judges, please give me your scores. I have 1 score. I have 2 scores. I have 3 scores. Can I get a 4th and a 5th score? I got 4 scores, and then my 5th score. Ooh, judges, y'all are quick. I love it. Amazing. Great. Okay, from a low to a high, let them know we have an 8.0. Goes up to an 8.2, an 8.8, a 9.3, and a 9.6. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Ooh, amazing. Y'all are writing some good poetry in this quarantine is all I have to say. On deck, we have Anna Allen. But coming up to the stage, give it up for our next poet, Tino.
You know, you have the floor. We can hear you.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, cool,
Yeah.
awesome. Sorry, y'all.
Make him wait.
Wow, I can't find this anywhere. All right, let's just hope I know it off memory. Abolish ICE to white people comes off like saying Jesus wasn't white, or Mayo isn't that great, and it never will be. Or when I say privilege, they're like, "What do you mean privilege?" And I'm like, you literally need a fence to police the people you deem a nuisance in your country, or you call your country designed by immigrants, then ban everyone else from coming in. I mean, abolish ICE because undocumented people shouldn't live in fear of being split apart, because no one is illegal, because legality and borders are just colonial constructions. I'm tired of losing my people and their worlds, America's settler project. When I say abolish ICE, the whites be like, well, what should we put in its place? That statement, so rich with lead, incarceration, and genocide, they probably only imagine bullets and cell bars for folks like me, but then play the fool with the 23andMe results, say their ancestry isn't from here. You see, you have to laugh at these white settlers and say we should all prescribe to be citizen. Yet deny the people who are here first that right, and that's not a mistake by their part. It's by design, because they can do anything to you if they label you illegal. They can do anything to you if they label you criminal, uncivilized, but not following their rules, so that humanity is tied to the system of hacking away at your dignity. At the time of this poem being written, there's still undocumented children detained, numbered off, and given away to white families, and this too is genocide. A militia of troops ordered to shoot under threat at the border to a people who are still miles away, and this too is genocide. A nation of brown people reciting the same settler speech that someone handed to them, and this too is genocide. When I mean abolish ICE, I mean abolish genocide, because y'all suck keeping violence at bay, because we've been had migration patterns long before y'all cut borders onto indigenous land. And yes, y'all are still trying to build a wall on indigenous land, and we are not having it. See how it gets here, see how it gets deteriorated before it even gets erected. See that we are people who transcend legality. Abolish ICE because you don't need a justification. Abolish ICE because abolish ICE. Abolish ICE because abolish ICE. Abolish ICE because abolish ICE.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, please put up your scores. Okay, we have no scores, but it's fine. Take your time. I get it. Take a breather. We have 1 score. We got 2 scores. We got 3 scores. 4 scores. Can I get my 5th score, please? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just need 1 more score from a judge. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need my 5th score. While we get our 5th score. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so we have a low to a high. Let them know we got an 8.1. Goes up to an 8.5, 8.7, 9.5. Sorry, we had a low of a 7.5. Again, math, very hard in my mind. It's okay, guys. We all make mistakes. To quote Hannah Montana, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Okay, so before we move on, what is this amazing background that you have behind you that's kind of melding into your face, Javi? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Berkeley Slam has a Patreon at the patreon.com/Berkeley Slam. What is a Patreon, you say? Well, it's a place where you can support local artists and places that you like and believe in. And at our Patreon, our monthly subscribers get some perks. You put in some money for us, we give it back to the community. All the proceeds that come to the Berkeley Slam, we give it back to the poets. We put it into sending teams of poets to competitions, assuming that our world will be the same after this whole fiasco that's going on. But we give it all to support our poets and our workers and everybody that's putting in work to fund the arts in this day and age. Patreon.com/Berkeley Slam. Ooh. Wow, amazing, great. That's not the last time you'll hear about that. Okay, but moving on deck, we have our next poet, Chardonnay, but coming up to the stage, give it up for our next poet, Anna Allen.
You have the floor.
Small death. She walks like Tina Turner, and she talks like a philosopher. And I wanted her. The moment I watched her mouth design my name has never sounded so Christmas Eve as right then in August. In that same black t-shirt and habitual cigarette, she looks so Arctic. It was the hottest. Her entire body is nonchalant, but she gets mad like God, and she weeps like Christ. When she kisses me, it's like running through the bulls in Pamplona in the middle of a dive bar in San Francisco. She's like a bruise you can't stop poking at. I can't stop touching her, even though she's all hot stoves and cyclones. We fight like World War I, screaming like car alarms, throwing punches like boxers. We always do. There's never any break, like how there's no break from laundry or bills to pay. You know, I wouldn't change it for a week of nothing but Fridays. She amazes me. And me? Well, I fuck with the lights on. I'm so terrified of things that I can't see. I do everything so carefully. I tucked my moth-ridden heart into yards of bubble wrap, mustering up the bravado to ask her to let me make her coffee every morning. I do it perfectly. When she left me, it was like lightning destroying a perfect sky, like no clean water in a falling on gravel, skinning your palms, like choking on your own tongue. She says, when it hits you, after you pulled the needle from your veins, it feels like clear traffic on the freeway, like a hug from your mother, like towels from the dryer, like martyrs for a fire, you just die, this small death, and then it's over. You know, I miss strolling my fingers up the bumps of her spine. She plays me like a piano. She throws me as far as the eye can see. She loves as hard as a 40-hour work week. She just doesn't love me. And it's like that sometimes. It's like that. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, scores please. Judges, scores please. I have 1 score. Can I get a second score? 2 scores. Can I get a third score? 3 scores. 4 scores and 5 scores. Okay. From a low to a high, let them know we have a 6.2. Goes up to a 7.7, a 7.8, an 8.4, and an 8.6. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay.
Those scores are whack around, eh?
I can neither confirm or deny that claim. Okay, on deck we have Jesse, but coming up to the stage, give it up for Chardonnay.
You have the floor.
A Sistina on not playing piano. You have the fingers of a pianist, so long and slender, says several old professors, all male, all white, all in mentor roles in deciding how I should use my fingers for them, labeled as one already trained to bend the right ways, as if that's what it means to be Black, all the way to my bones I've been taught to perform. For who must I be ready to perform? These men, all tall and reminiscent of the slender, in my memory, each is dressed in a suit, Black, as the keys shrunk in between those large and white, differentiated by the lips carved in an upward bend, its placement as unnatural as the shape wished upon my fingers. Some of these men, older, made other innuendos of my fingers, thirsty for the juice that flows when they perform, my body learning new ways to bend underneath their vision, all imaginary as that slender, but just as haunting of a face, unmasked but white and growing hungry to consume my Black, or reminding me that my presence triggered memories of an ex, Black, as if that erases the racism from his fingers, touching without asking, explaining forgiveness is owed to his white. It must be delivered, even if that means I must perform. And if I embody too much space, make myself more slender to take the extra parts of me and force them to bend. I leave these conversations with pieces of myself exposed, past bend, molded into a box itself, the darkest shadow, Black, a piece of myself once removed to make slender, words ripping from my throat by metal fingers, relive death with a stage to perform. There is no survival if you bleach yourself white. When you see the piano keys, first you notice the white, then you hear the song, but you don't see what it takes to bend, to give yourself a shape ready to perform. When your pieces are no longer shadows, they're still Black, still learning not to hide, to move like nimble fingers. Where is the balance between doing shows and avoiding slender? The haunting desire to perform with my fingers, a white man watching his wallet grow slender as he bends to be near this Black. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, let me see your scores, please. Judges, I got 1 score. Ooh, nice and quick. 2 scores. Ooh, y'all are getting faster and faster. 3 scores and 4 scores. Ooh, we were this close to making the 9 barrier, but we have a low of an 8.1. Goes up to a 9. Goes up to a 9.5, a 9.6, and a 9.7. Give it up for the poet. Not the points, the poet. Ooh, y'all hear that? A form poem? What is that, you may ask? Are there other questions you may have about poetry or writing? Are you sitting at home thinking, I got nothing better to do but sit here and watch TV? I wish I could just write it and do it better. Well, do I have some news for you? Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. before the slam, we have a Zoom workshop. That's right. You can be writing like these poets over here, and you can be up here too from the comfort of your own home. That's right. 7 p.m. every Wednesday, Zoom workshop, be there. And even sometimes we have our great features host the workshop too. What? 2 for 1 package? How much could that cost? Well, let me tell you, free 99. What? You get to write stuff for free? Yeah, that's right. That's right. No trial needed. Oh my gosh. Ugh.
Hey, Javi, is that 7 p.m. Pacific time or Eastern time?
I don't know how time works, but it is 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's right. West Coast represent. Now put your hands up. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Those are lyrics from California Girls. I know. I have done that. And what are you going to do about it? Anyway, on deck. That's right. 7 p.m. West Coast. And then 10 p.m. East Coast. And then like maybe midnight in London. I don't know. Things. Geography. Y'all got it. I trust you. Okay, on deck we have our second poet from here, Claire Lord. But coming up to the stage, give it up for Jessie.
I cannot find you. Is your Zoom name different from your is your Zoom name different? Because I cannot find you here. Can you type it in the comments? Jesse? Hello?
I don't think Jesse's here.
Oh. Well, then Javi, I guess, do we want to move on?
Yes. Unfortunately, it looks like Jessie is currently not here, which is fine. You know, we all live lives, all that stuff, you know. But we're just gonna move on. Amazing Fierce. I will put on a random background that I would have probably chosen in between. This probably would have been the next background. Tiger King. Don't trust
You're gonna
Carol
get us sued
Baskin.
for copyright.
Okay, there we go. On deck after that, we have lyrical. Wait, let me pull it up. On deck, we have lyrical Faith, but coming off the stage now, we have Claire Lord.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. I wanted to give a trigger warning for catcalling. Scattered glass sprawled across wooden floors, across skin, scattered glass sprawls onto skin, catapults into lips, poking at peace of mind, prick skin and hair stands on end. Catcall sprawls across pavement, across skin, catcall catapults out of lips, sprawls across body, a soil that will never wash off. Prick skin and hair stands on end. Scattered glass sprawls rainbows across wooden floors, across skin. Scattered glass lets me know it can't crash again. And then I remember every other window. Catcall makes me feel less aware. Like I finally found what I was expecting / afraid of. Catcall is the thing I was trying to be aware of. Catcall approaches and I feel like the nightmare is about to play out and I can wake up in a cold sweat finally. Scattered glass springs, slows down and regains control of gravity, moves up and not down again. Catcall is not done. Catcall stands up, pushes in his chair, follows me. Catcall is not the nightmare. Catcall is the first part that still feels like a dream, and yes, catcall is the whole man, because now it's the only description that fits his body, because he decided the only description that could fit my body was sweet little pretty girl. The only description that could fit my body was a one-way ticket to him, because no, I am not sweet. I am not a girl. I will admit I am little and damn am I gorgeous, but I am not yours for the taking. Scattered glass wonders why there are good parts to window shattering. Maybe because it could have been worse, but it wasn't, and I'm still here, and shattered glass pokes at skin, and I'm losing my mind in a TJ Maxx bathroom in DC. My body gains composure. My body is an urn. An urn does not decide when it is filled with thick dust. is not given a choice to swallow death and not choke. Urn chokes. Urn shatters, reforms into body. So I sit in the TJ Maxx bathroom, I wait. And 20 minutes later, I leave the stall still shaking, face red, body uncertain of its movements, not wanting to attract unwanted bodies. A girl walks into the bathroom. She gives me this look like she knows me, my day. She knows exactly what just happened, probably because it happened to her too. We walk to my hotel room and time slows down. Shattered glass being gorilla glued back together. Looks new. Shattered glass will never be able to keep out rain. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, can I get your scores, please? Judges, I have, take your time, take that moment, take that second. I have 1 score. Okay, can I get my second score? I got 1 score, I got 1 score, I got 1 score, I got 1 score. I got 2 scores. I got 3 scores. I have 4 scores. And can I get my 5th score? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores. Okay. From a low to a high, let them know we have a 7.7. Goes up to an 8.3, an 8.5, an 8.9, and an 8.9. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay, amazing. Everyone's doing well. Oh, actually, wait. Scorekeeper. That second 8.9 was an 8.7. Read that incorrectly. Sorry. Can't read either. Can't do math, can't read. But you know what you can do? Subscribe to Bay Poets Unite. What is that, you may ask? Oh my gosh, is that another screen cap, Javi? Are you? Yeah, you know, when you write proficient in Excel, this is what that means, right? Screenshots and putting Zoom backgrounds. So if you missed any poem tonight, or if you want to see it again, or if you want to show your friends, or if you just want proof that you did poetry for the poets, anything like that, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bay Poets Unite, where we put live streams, we put poems from not only our show, other shows. You could just see great poetry from the Bay Area. It's fierce, it's amazing. Get into it. Okay, so on deck, we have our last poet of the night, B. John, but coming up to the stage, give it up for our penultimate poet. That means context clues second to last. What? Give it up for Lyrical Faith.
You have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Warner Brothers produced The Joker, and it becomes the first R-rated film of all time to gross over $1 billion in revenue. Transformers was set in Detroit. Red Dragon filmed in Baltimore. The Silence of the Lambs was in Memphis, Tennessee, and Frankenstein came alive in New Orleans near the same field as 12 Years a Slave. These places all happen to be the most populous Black cities in America. The Joker was filmed in Newark, Jersey City, and the Bronx, New York. I am from the Bronx, born, raised, and it might sound like, why am I so serious? But when tourists came to take pictures by the staircase, no one was laughing. I cannot enjoy a feature film without thinking of the unpaid extras posted on the block, how multi-billion-dollar productions are shot in the hood for dramatic effect, setting up the horror as if we don't already know scared, like the black of our hands. I have seen chalk outline on sidewalk cleaned up in enough time for tour buses to pull up. Because street signs in the ghetto make for such great action, like Compton, like Brooklyn, like nobody went to sightsee in the hood before it became Hollywood. Can't you see the stars in the ground?
The ones that went to heaven before mama could say we made it, before the camera panned right down the tombstones to catch our good side. Tell me how many box offices will catch a tax break for the dreams that went to die on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Which scene can my family survive in when our poverty is just so profitable? When the camera stopped rolling and remnants of our lens is still in every barbed wire fence. Movie magic is not how abandoned the buildings look, but rather just how well they edit out the residents. And somewhere there are viewers visiting the finished product, capturing our trauma on portraits, posing in places they do not have to be a part of, thinking it'll turn out okay. Because isn't gentrification just color correction anyway?
Give it up for the poet. Ooh, judges, give me your scores, please. Judges, scores, please. I have, let's look. We got any scores? We got 1 score. We got 2 scores. We got 3 scores. We got 4 scores. Can I get my 5th score? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking for my 5th score. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me make sure that I see. I'm looking at all of them. And 5 scores. Okay, cool. So from a low to a high, we have an 8.3, goes up to an 8.8, an 8.8, a 9.0, and a 9.2. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay, so we're almost done with the first round of Slam. First and foremost, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking care of yourself and breathing and doing all that stuff. Amazing, great, wonderful. Okay, on deck we have our amazing feature for the night, D-Soul. What? Oh my gosh, a feature? Javi. Yeah, I know. Anyways, but before that, we got our last poet of the first round. Please give it up for Bijan.
What is your name on Zoom? Because I do not see Bijan.
It's supposed to be Bijan.
It is
not
the
sure.
Galaxy J4 Plus.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that.
That's you. Okay. All right, you have the floor.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hunger Games. Have you ever seen hunger in a person's eyes? Flies resting silently to the windows to one soul, searching gingerly for crumbs their mouths cannot obtain. Every 3.6 seconds, someone dies of hunger. I said, every 3.6 seconds, someone dies of hunger. Every 3.6 seconds, that split second, someone just died from hunger. And for just 35 cents a day, you can help feed a child suffering from poor nutrition, which causes 45% of death in children under the age of 5. That's 8,500 children each day, 3.1 million children each year. These hunger games will kill you, ingest you, digest you, make you realize that nearly 1 in 4 persons live on less than $1 a day. When breadwinners work so hard to show the fruits of their labor, bring home the fruits from their labor to feed their 5,000, but their faith cannot share 2 fish and 5 loaves. Instead, their faith has left them a kwashiorkor, a protein deficiency that has left their abdomen swollen. They have given birth to death, and you won't know it because you can't see the rigor mortis kicking. I said they have given birth to death, and you will know it once you see the rigor mortis kick in. These hunger games will kill you, ingest you, digest you, then choose to measure their hunger by tape, by worm. Take the worms and call them hungry, starving, famished, hungry for a bellyful, starving for their asses to be glad, famished for the itis to set in. But we will see how the African fatigue drains them lifeless, parched for no access to clean water. For we know it's not Chelsea's choice for them to live like this. And for just 35 cents a day, you can feed the narrative that they aren't actually in the most expensive fight of their life. But if the price is right, you see the price is their life. They are the Hunger Games. How hard they live to survive only to die of hunger. This is no sick joke. They have no supporting cast All they hear is death knocking, and mockingbirds won't chirp and chant to their aid. Their acting skills won't be rewarded with an Oscar. My winner. But oh, I wish, speaking of, let's be frank. What do you imagine they would do if they knew that in 2012, the world spent approximately $1,735 billion on war, waging war? I wish somebody would pray for them before their head bow and their eyes closed, mouths don't get bad, they say. They say you can feed a child for just 35 cents a day, they say. I say, feed a child 35 cents a day, you eat for a day. Eradicate poverty, you eat for a lifetime. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, please show me your scores, please. I said please twice, so that's extra nice. Okay, so I have 1 score. Can I get a second score? 2 scores. Can I get a third score? And 3 scores. Can I get my 4th score? 4 scores, and then my 5th score. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 scores. Okay. From a low to high, let them know we have a 7.5. Goes to an 8.2, an 8.6, an 8.7, and an 8.9. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay. Amazing. Great. Love that. Fierce. So we just made it through the first round. How's everyone feeling? Oh, pretend that I hear the audience back. Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow. We're feeling great. Amazing. Now, are we ready for our amazing larger than life feature for tonight? Please, I would like to welcome to the stage D Soul, but before that, I have an amazing bio to read. Darnell D. Soul Carson is a Black queer poet, performer, and educator from San Diego, California, with Bay Area roots. His work has been featured in the Anderson Collection at Stanford University, Right About Now Poetry, and soon Button Poetry. Yeah, you may have heard some of these places, I don't know. He is a 2-time CUPSI finalist, 18 and 19, and has 2 published collections, Work in Progress and Firebird. He's currently pursuing a degree in cultural and social psychology, with a minor in creative writing and from Stanford University, where he has also a 2-quarter-long poetry workshop course. D. Soul's poetry springs forth from the intersections of race, sexuality, and family, among others. He uses curation of images and expansive nature of personal narrative to draw out the universal truths hiding in our everyday experiences. He believes not just in the power of our storms, but also joy standing in the middle. Please, without further ado, let me welcome to the stage our amazing feature, D. Soul.
You have the floor.
What's up, everybody? So I am D Soul. It's very nice to meet all of y'all. Yeah, thank you for that wonderful intro. Yeah, I'm co-director of Spoken Word Collective here at Stanford University. We are 2-time CUPSI finalists. I'm very blessed to be able to say that, and I'm very glad to be here with y'all tonight. So I'm gonna tell y'all now, I know I can't hear you, but I'm gonna need to feel y'all's spirit. I can see the Zoom chat people, so I wanna see y'all snap and stuff. Okay, I'm looking at y'all. I gotta feel y'all energy. I got 20 minutes on this stage. I need to feel y'all's spirit. My Instagram is @DSoulPoetry, so go ahead and follow me there. And people in the chat, competitors, I'm gonna need y'all help a little bit. My final poem is a Mad Libs poem. So in between my pieces, I'm gonna be asking y'all for a few words. So let me go ahead and ask you for the first 2. I need y'all to put in the chat something that you call somebody. And I also need a noun. So I need a noun and something that you call somebody. With a quickness, I only got 20 minutes on this stage. I know y'all know words, y'all poets.
Would you like me to also give the audience, the live stream audience, their comments, share them with you?
No, it's okay. Only because I just want to test these poets here, but I got it. Thank you though. Okay, awesome. Great. So those are the first 2. I'm gonna go on to the first poem. So first poem, I wrote for 3030. Y'all, 3030 is hell, and I hate it, but I'm doing it. So, this is gay YA novel outline. Let's imagine there are two boys, because this is 2020 and no longer novel. And because it is 2020, let us also imagine that boy one, we'll call him Shadow, replies to boy two's, let's name him Sunbeam, Instagram story. Something along the lines of, oh, that's a really good photo. And let's imagine Sunbeam is adept enough to weave that sentence into a new story, one where two boys meet on a cold night and kiss in the rain. 3 days later, they will go on their first date, ice cream, of course, because it is cost effective and easy and cute, and make a kingdom of the nearest playground. A week after that, let's imagine they are everyone's favorite OTP. You know, the classic trope of sunshine in a bottle and his black-wearing gloom and doom bad poetry partner. And right before their first month anniversary, Shadow does what is completely expected and obvious to everyone and writes Sunbeam a chapbook of poetry for his love. At this point, everything is good, so the moment is ripe for disaster. Let's imagine 2 months into what might be the best thing that's ever happened to Shadow in the history of ever. The cosmic cop block of choice is a pandemic, something sudden and scary and strong enough to rip Sunbeam all the way back to New Mexico. And because this is still a YA novel, let's imagine the story doesn't stop there. Let's imagine the boys are still learning to send love letters through telephone towers, or that state lines only exist the moments between their FaceTime calls. Let's imagine that this is everything Shadow's ever been afraid of, finding a good thing and losing it to something out of his control. Sounds like a story he's always hoped for. Something out of the mind of Rainbow Rowell or John Green or J.K. Rowling 10 years after the last book is written. Let's imagine Shadow has read enough books to know this isn't the end, or at least that he will keep fighting against it. That he will look for Sunbeam in every unturned rock, or song they ever shared, or the first moments of every waking. That the story will work out in the end. Thank you. So that was my first one. That was a poem about my partner who I miss dearly. So yeah. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna need 2 more words. I need a saying and I need a construct or concept. Just a social construct concept and then a saying. So poets, now's your time to send me something. Gender, okay. Gender. Okay, someone send me a saying. Okay, got it.
Damn daddy.
Okay. Next poem. Medusa, after Jericho Brown. The safest myths are always the ones in which women are blamed. Here, water god takes girl in temple, and we will not call it rape. How dare she be so beautiful, after all, that a god would defile a temple in her name? Athena descends all wisdom and war and gives the girl a crown of snakes, a gaze so gripping it leaves men breathless. In the Greek, Medusa comes from a verb meaning to protect. Even now, it is unclear if Athena's curse was sanction or sanctuary. There is no blessing in being adored by men. There is no safety in their refusal. Maiden or monster, there is always something stolen by the end of the story, either her head or her name. In the end, man calls her a villain. What else is there to believe? Sweet. So that's Medusa. These transitions between poems are horrible. I know. I'm sorry. Okay. 2 more words. I need a noun and then a noun or adjective. I'm taking the first 2 things I see, so y'all gotta be quick. Noun or adjective. Smashedly. I'm gonna say smashed. Okay, I need a noun. Okay. Got it. Okay, next poem. Okay, the next poem I wrote for a online slam competition. So some of y'all may have heard it before. The Greeks believed sleep and death were brothers. When I was younger, I used to think melanin and melatonin were the same words said different ways. As one can imagine, this inspired a lot of questions like, how does melatonin help you sleep? My melanin keep me up at night, make it hard to distinguish between gunshots and fireworks, make a cop's car sound like the Middle Passage, make a siren scream feel like a funeral procession. Isn't taking a melatonin pill problematic? I don't think skin work that way. Don't think you turn your skin on and off like a light switch. Don't think you can choose when and where to have a target on your back. Why would anyone want to give themselves melatonin? Why would you curse yourself with darkness? Yes, I can see the draw in skin that don't crack, but the trade-off is that you can't walk around safely at night or midday or anytime one of our melanin deficient friends decided it's time for you to meet the end of their bullet. Turns out both words come from the Greek word melan, black. In literary symbolism, we often associate black with death. We often associate sleep with death. We think of darkness as a sort of dying, so it is no wonder that everyone wants to take this pill. Everyone wants to be black, but no one wants to die for it. This melatonin is the closest thing to our melanin they can have. Sleep is the only way they can understand what it's like to be black, to always have death hovering over you, to close your eyes and wonder if another day is promised or if a cop will shoot you through your door or on your couch or on the BART. To be black is to always be asleep, to always have dreams you can never remember the endings to or never get to see, to watch others take your black for themselves and be mad when you ask for it back, when you ask them to wake up, when you ask them to stop romanticizing in the dark. You want this melanin so you see what nightmares it could give you tomorrow. You will get to wake. You will get to choose which face to put on. You will get to regulate just how much of this dark you want. But black people will always be sleepwalking, always be asking for a quiet night, always be praying for a sunrise. Whoo! Yes, Lord, every time. Whew, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I see y'all. I think I'm still good on time. I'm doing these. Okay, 2 more words. I need a noun / adjective and then a noun. So noun or adjective and then a noun. Ashy, I love it. Okay, and then a noun. Platypus. Wow, y'all are so good. Y'all must be poets or something. Okay, next poem. Elegy for Black Boys Still Breathing. The black boy's greatest magic trick has always been survival. We have always known death like a distant relative, have always known that this inhale, exhale of ours is the strongest form of rebellion. It is hard not to be a ghost in a body that you have never felt alive in. Even now, I'm unsure what keeps me tethered to this world, the power of my mother's prayers or the fear of leaving her behind. She tells me to watch my back out there. She refuses to ever use the word goodbye because she wants God to know she'll kill him if I don't make it back to her breathing. I ask, what if tomorrow isn't in God's will for me? What the fuck does God know about a will, she says. Thinks he has enough angels already guarding his gates. This greedy green earth of his knows a taste of us too well. I think that maybe diligence is a virtue. How else could I believe that all black boys go to heaven, if not that they can always see the kingdom coming? I do not tell her there's already a gravestone with my hashtag on it. Instead, I promise that I'll be home before the streetlights can catch me. She's already threatening God as I leave. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Okay, I only got 2 more filler poems. Filler, quote unquote. That's what I call all my poems. And then the last poem. Okay, so if I can get an adjective and then a noun / adjective. Musty. Yes. Oh, this poem's gonna be so funny, y'all. It's gonna be so funny. Loam. Okay, y'all really educated out here. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, next poem. This poem I love a lot because I love my grandmother. My grandmother is from is from Oakland, and I love her with my whole heart. My whole heart. So this is I think of my grandmother still waking. By 6 in the morning, she's already out of bed, I'm sure. Goddess of afternoons naps, Granny has never been one to lay down for long. The roosters are most likely sounding their morning alarms while Granny makes the first coffee pot. It will drip until my grandfather traces the scent back to the kitchen's black and white tile, the garden sunlight pouring in all patchwork, or whatever you call it when the clouds seam the Oakland sky like that. By 10 in the morning, she will have already talked to her sister for 3 hours, each word spilling time backwards until they are at the genesis of their first conversation. Even in quarantine, they will always find something to say. Granny commenting on how well her plants did this California winter, or Auntie talking about how all the casinos in Vegas were shut down, their Louisiana draws peeping out for a play date. My granny calls me, a surprise to both of us, to assure me that she and Grandpa are okay. Oh, we doing fine over here, Darnell, she says, drawing out the L like a tub of bath water. You know, I don't like to leave the house anyway, and I do know my grandmother, ever wary of driving at night in these crazy people in Costco traffic. I can see her at that bedside window she loves, gazing at a street she's never seen so empty, remarking how dirty it still is, all the bad things stopping at her gate, unable to touch her, her fence, a ward against evil even Jesus is jealous of. I think of her every day, still waking in her joy, still laughing at the sight of a new sunrise, sitting somewhere adjacent to the right hand of the Father, giving thanks for what has not yet happened. Whew. Yeah, I love my grandma. I love my grandma. Okay, last two words I'm asking y'all for. So come with it now, okay? Concept or construct, social concept or construct, and then an adjective. And while y'all doing that, I'm gonna take some water. Okay, divinity. Ooh, perfect word here. Okay, and adjective. Sweet. Okay. How are y'all doing? I can only see some of y'all, but I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Okay, these are my last ones, so I appreciate it. So the penultimate poem. And when they finally hand me a name after Denez Smith's alternate names for Black boys. And when they finally hand me a name, I will be still wisping, most of me fading memory first into tomorrow, still burning at the sight of me, my hand a watermark of a forgotten summer, still glowing in the lost light, muddy mirage, morbid marriage of mutability and dirt, always shifting for another's God, steady silent for another's flame, bone crackling, quiet, they will call me kindling, see me gaslight drenched, name me guilty, never find the match, monster made of molehills, an afterthought, still praying for an unraveling, ontological absence, still searching for salvation, demi deity of vanishing into dawn, still holding horizon, strong as mama's hush, holy as the knife in her teeth. Okay. Thank y'all so much for hanging with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all, by the way, have done so well on this slam. I've enjoyed looking at y'all and rehearing y'all poems so much. So blessings out to all of you. Once again, before I do this last poem, my Instagram is DSoul Poetry. So is my Cash App and my Venmo. So feel free to hit me up on any one of those. I appreciate y'all a lot. So here's the poem. So this poem is a Mad Libs poem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the unfilled in version first, which I read every blank as redacted because that's a poem on its own. And then I'm going to read the poem that y'all helped filled in here as the poets. So the first version of the poem is called Poem of Numerous Things Unspoken. A boy walks into a room and it's called Redacted. I am asked for my redacted and I hand over my spine. There are a million ways to say redacted and I have never been good at any of them. Redacted is a million tiny prayers, praise dancing on my tongue for a redacted that will never hear them. I hear redacted, and a blossom of redacted bloom from the roof of my mouth. There are not enough homilies for the redacted stuck in my teeth. I spill repentance before every redacted that got me here. I wonder if heaven rewards a crown for every redacted part of myself I kill. Saint and sinners are just two ways of saying redacted. There is no redacted in the afterlife, only the promise of a maybe. My hands have always been the most redacted thing I own. Also, I'm blind. I missed the word. I need someone to give me a plural noun right now before I do the second part. Real quick. Just pick a noun and add an S. I don't care. I love it. Okay. Perfect. 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 You were so ready to say that. Okay. So here is the second version of the poem. Poem of numerous things filled in. A boy walks into a room and is called baby. I am asked for my handle and I hand over my spine. There are a million ways to say ain't nobody got time for that, and I have never been good for any of them. Gender is a million tiny prayers, praise dancing on my tongue for a douche that will not hear them. I hear smashed and a blossom of niggas bloom from the roof of my mouth. There are not enough homilies for the ashy stuck in my teeth. I spill repentance before every platypus that got me here. I wonder if heaven rewards the crowns for every musty part of myself I kill. Saint and sinner are just two ways of saying loam. There is no divinity in the afterlife, only the promise of a maybe. My hands have always been the most unlively thing I own. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate you. Y'all have a blessed night. Go in love, health, all that good stuff. Thank y'all so much.
Give it up for our amazing feature, D Soul. Ooh, amazing, great. What an amazing way to end the first round. Very interactive, very fierce, amazing. Please find all the social media for our feature, support them, do all that, give all that love. Amazing, fierce. Great. Okay, so poets and audience, we're gonna be taking a 5-minute break. 5 minutes. You know what? Since we're at 9:44, I'll give you guys 6 minutes. So 6-minute break. So at 9:50, we'll be back over here, ready to start the live stream. Okay, everyone go drink some water, get a drink, go to the bathroom, do all that stuff, give some love to our feature, our poets, all that stuff. Fierce, follow them, find them. Okay, great. Have a good break.
I mean, can you leave that background for our people to just see and appreciate?
Yeah, I can. I painted this myself. Just kidding. No, I didn't. That's not true. That's not true. I'm not claiming it. It is beautiful.
Just gonna say thank you to everyone. That may have been my favorite version of the poem so far. Oh, didn't mean to spotlight it, but yeah, just saying thank you. Oops, I forgot to spell my Instagram for everyone who wasn't in the chat. It's DEE not just the letter D. DEESOUL poetry. Awesome. I'm done now. You'll stop hearing from me.
What's your Venmo? What's your Venmo and Cash App, by the way, for the
Venmo,
viewers?
Cash App, Twitter, Instagram, all DEESOUL poetry. You can find me on all of them. I take them all. I swear I'm funny on the apps.
Okay, everybody. Is everybody here? Everyone here? I will read off the list for the second round. If you are here, please say that you are here. The second round is going to be going in this order. First, we have, let me pull it up. First, we have Lyrical Faith. Yeah, are you here? Say yes if you are here. Okay, perfect. Then after that, we have Claire Lord. Please, Claire Lord, if not Claire Lord.
I'm here.
Sorry, was that pronounced? And then after that, sorry, give me a second. Do we have Chardonnay in the building? Okay, then we have Bambi. Do we have Bambi in the building? I see Bambi's in the call. I don't know if Bambi's here yet.
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. And then last we have Reggie. Is Reggie here? Reggie here. Yes. Okay, I see Reggie. Okay, Fierce. Are we ready to start the second round? Live stream whiz. Do we got these?
Yes, we are ready. We can begin.
Okay. Okay, yeah, all ready. All good to go. Stay hydrated, kids.
Are we starting?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Just let me know when are we good?
Yeah, we are good. We can start right now. Everything you've been saying has been seen by the people.
Oh, okay. Well, hi. Hey, everybody. Little behind the scenes. I gave y'all an extra few minutes because y'all are a great audience and I love all of you. And I know, some of you need a breath of fresh air. Some of that air needs to be filled with other things. I don't know your life. Anyway, well, who's ready to start the second round? Okay, so our second round poets are going in this order. So in our second round, we take the top 5 scoring poets of the first round, put them in reverse order, and then we see who gets the highest points cumulatively. Ooh, amazing math. We'll do that for you, don't worry. But the second round will be going in this order. First, we got Lyrical Faith, then Claire Lord, Chardonnay, Bambi, and Reggie. Give it up for the second round poets, and give it up for every poet that came to this stage tonight. Okay, but before we do that, we need another sacrifice for the judges. Someone to ease you up, tenderize, get everyone ready. So on deck, we have the first poet of the first round, Lyrical Faith. But coming up to the stage, give it up for our sacrifice, Jordan Wilson.
Jordan, could you start your video because I can't spotlight you? Okay, cool. You have the floor now.
I didn't realize that this would. Does anyone know how you turn the green screen thing off? By any chance?
You go to video, choose virtual background, and then click none. Got it.
Awesome. Thank you.
It was like an ethereal entrance. You came in through waves. Love it. Amazing.
Totally planned. How my anxiety entertains itself during a pandemic. Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Cool. Wrings hands, skin wearing shivers, try to fade out visions of hospital beds, and my mother without her favorite nightgown. Alternates between those ghosts ringing my mind like a funeral I wasn't invited to. My wild-eyed mother who fought so long to no longer be trapped, to escape her own head, the hands depression palmed over her speech, social contact her essential medication. My blood pressure peaking when I learn the risks that she takes too often. I can hear the panic in her voice, not wanting to be her own painful death or my father's or mine, negotiating whether she's more afraid of drowning in her own immune system or what barely feels like living, and if there's a difference. Being unable to feel her grandson growing in her arms, his sister developing nerves around her, separated from the long past official shelter-in-place ends. Physical contact pulled her out of her parents' grave once before. Child raising has always been what saves her. The little ones keep her hauntings at arm's distance. If she falls back in, she wonders if she can climb out again. I beg her to be safe, but she hears everyone who's ever tried to protect her and didn't listen when she was gasping, who fought so long to no longer be trapped. And my wild mother I wasn't invited to alternates between those ghosts ringing my mind like a funeral, and my mother without her favorite nightgown tries to fade out visions of hospital beds, shivers wearing skin, hands ring, and I wear a nightgown like the one she's had since I was little, wrap my arms around myself and pretend I can hold her together. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, can I get your scores, please? Judges, scores, please. I have 1 score. Can I get a second score, please? 1 score, 1 score, 1 score. I have 1 score. I got 2 scores. I got 3 scores. I got 4 scores. Can I get my 5th score? And 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep those scores up. Keep those scores up. And then we got our 5th score. Okay, from a low to a high, let them know we have a 7.8. Goes up to a 7.9, an 8.0, an 8.1, and a 9.6. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay, now we're ready to start up the second round. On deck, we have Claire Lord, but coming to the stage, give it up for our first poet of the second round, Lyrical Faith. Woo!
You have the floor.
Hey, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
On December 4th, 2019, BuzzFeed reported that Pinterest bans the search of plantation weddings. According to Google, there are 93.6 billion results for these celebrations. In particular, the wedding industry routinely denies a violent history and continues to promote plantations as romantic places to marry. My great-grandparents are from an island in South Carolina where the water has eroded acres over time. The neighboring plantation be a stone's throw away. My Southern roots are tied to a location where millennials pretend to be antebellum, placing their bodies against the backdrop of slavery, clothing themselves in nostalgia, buttoned up tux and white dress to play purity on quarters of bondage and bloodshed. You can search the pictures, bear witness to the poplars, see how low the branches hang, positioned to exchange vows beneath where bodies would swing. You can almost touch the hem of the cotton, smell the sweat dripping from a forehead, feel the breeze, droop over the picnic, then marvel at the beauty of the water. I bet they want to have live music, preferably jazz or rhythm and blues. Something about the shucking and jiving of blackness is so matrimonial. How about soul food? Tea, sweetened from the sugar cane, stirred slow by the woman in the big house. How much for the black-eyed peas per plate? We're paying good money to remind ourselves that we own the place, so they search for the mistress fit, the bouquet and back whip, placing photo booth in slave cabin, a white wine and cheese spread near the tobacco, a ledger for family and friends to sign in. Meanwhile, turning over beneath their feet are the corpses that quiver from lashes on their flesh, are the bones that rattle when they couldn't have ceremonies like this. They wonder, when did this become popular? When did it never go out of style? How did our trauma become search engine? How do white folks say they don't want to remember when these crops be the backdrop of our history in America? How did forest fields of labor become a #1 wedding search? A hashtag, a Pinterest, BuzzFeed, magazine, vision board parties. Some white women have dreamed of this day their whole lives. So this is their rights, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, because what is more American than slavery, God, and marriage? This is white history, and we'll have memories to last us a lifetime.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, give me your scores, please. Judges, scores, please. Woo. Starting up the second round with some fire. I don't know if y'all expected anything different. Okay, I got 1 score. I got 2 scores. I got 3 scores. Can I get a 4th score and then a 5th score? Can we get that a little closer? Okay. And okay, so from a low to a high, we almost broke the 9 barrier, but we have a low of an 8.4. Goes up to an 8.5, a 9.2, a 9.4, and a 9.8. Give it up for the poet, not the points.
Where are the
Okay.
10s?
I don't know. Unbiased host. Okay, on deck we have Chardonnay coming to the stage. Give it up for Claire Lloyd.
This poem is called The Sound of Silence in 5 parts. 1. Silence sounds like a dog whistle that only I can hear. Like not even the dogs can hear it, but I can, and it's so annoying. Silence sounds like a soft breeze on a hot day. Like a day that's way too hot for anything. Silence sounds like my childhood best friend's mother in the ER detoxing. The doctors called it unusual, tragic even. I heard ignorance is bliss. This is avoidance versus mortality rates. This is picking and choosing who to insure enough to survive. 2. Silence rings, church bells that only crash to cry. Cracking bronze, silence sits and kneels before compassion. Silence sings, a chorus that only hums a melody, no harmony, all fallacy. Silence is my home's church, no real prayer, false praise of moments made for eulogies. 3. Silence sounds like the empty space after a diagnosis is given. Sounds like a flat line that shouldn't be there. Sounds like funerals in between trees. Chorus voices bleed blue at the altar. A humble tone so cold. A voice so low it freezes over, waiting to crack. Labeled drowning, enabled waterboarding. 4. Silence sounds like you. Like when you scream at me when you're sad. Silence is when you get mad at me and you do not have to say anything for me to know you're mad. Silence is the 6-year-old girl next to me in the ER screaming all night. She came from a home I once knew so well. Silence is muffled screams and not being able to shut out light. Silence sounds like when you get in a car, going home after weeks of forgetting what home feels like. Feels like the empty space between your feet and the pavement. Empty voices shatter in that very space. Silence sounds like drowning, surrounded by everyone else drowning, and we all pretend to swim. Suffocating on pavement in my best coat, waiting for the air to return, it never does. Left lung collapsed in each body, we smile still. 5. Silence is the contraction of teeth into jaw, is the only contraption tongue could ever fold itself into, the only tool lips could spit out. Silence is and always will be the loudest art of taking, is the only way tongues spill hope out from brain and call it giving. Silence. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges. Can I get your scores, please, judges? I have 1 score. Can I see a second score? Second score. Can I get a third score? We have a 3rd score. Can I get a 4th score? 4 score and 5 scores. Okay, judges staying consistent. Okay, so from a low to a high, we have an 8, followed by an 8. Goes up to an 8.3, an 8.7, and an 8.9. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay, on deck, we have Bambi. But coming to the stage, give it up for our next poet, Chardonnay.
What happens when you leave a relationship that was a body bag? You must learn not to fake dead. To be alive is to speak. The silence was learned every time the bag zipped shut and trapped your words. A sudden fear of zippers, as if everyone meant to put you under, keep you hidden. The fear stops you from unzipping, from opening up to anyone you fear will bury you if you give them the power. You must lean into the fear. The only way out is through the opening of the zipper. Its ridges escape as you escape. Its ridges scrape as you escape. The blood is proof your heart is still beating. Your heart, evidence you can still love. Love conquering fear. A reminder this bag was never meant for you. A reminder you are not dead yet, and life blooms love, blooms hope. When the zipper opens, the words pour out. There's so many after the silence, a longing that spills so much ink you run out of paper to catch it. Bones crack when escaping after so much silence, popping into place and reminding you the joints still work, burning from moving after so long. The words become smoke, a joint of celebration when in rotation. No more choking on your words from hotboxing that bag. Smoking out the fear means opening the bag. On this side, it looks less like a tomb. It's transformed to a death that doesn't require dying, a cocoon. Caterpillars become goo before butterflies. To grow wings, you must become shapeless. Mold a mouth without a zipper and say you made it. Before all of this, you must learn to scream for help. You cannot open your own body bag, unzip your lips, and call for help. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, can I get your scores, please? Judges. Okay, we got 1 score. We have 2 scores. We have 3 scores. We have 4 scores. Can I get my 5th score, please? Whew, it's getting hot in here with all this fire poetry. And then we have our 5th score. Okay, from a low to a high, let them know. We have 8, goes up to an 8.3, an 8.4, an 8.8, and a 9.8. Give it up for the poet, not the points. On deck, we have our last poet of
But
the
those
night.
points were whack.
I can neither agree nor disagree with that as an unbiased host. But on deck, we have our last poet of the night, Reggie. But coming up to the stage, give it up for our penultimate poet, using big words, Bambi. Yeah.
Dear Jennifer Lawrence, aka Hunger Games girl, fuck you for attempting to play Mystique, Marvel's bravest beauty, X-Men's fiercest finesse dressed in a sapphire casing and the ruby red hair you refuse to sport. Your wig looks stupid, sitting atop your head like a raven's nest, like the light bulb that turns on above mine when I realize you did not do Mystique justice. As the most relatable actress in the movie business, I'm sorry to say you could never relate to her. She's strong-willed, built with a backbone that stretches past flexibility and maneuvers through her self-awareness. You have never worn skin color from the wrong color palette. And you don't understand how brave it is for her, walking in a world that wants her dead, but wants her genetic makeup, wants to keep her locked up, dim her lights, wants to turn her into a walking war machine in a world that displays her genuine emotion, as Blind Rage says. She's nothing but an angry blue woman. Malicious blue woman, seductive blue woman says. She sucks the life out of the room with her skin, with her being. She barely talks, but she takes up too much space. So she has something to fear when she must walk with the feeling every day she walks into society that tries to oppress her and benefit off her. How brave it is to know you can be anybody else, transform your very identity before society's eyes. You could walk in someone else's shoes, try on someone else's privilege, to be the beauty everyone accepts. How brave it is then to still stand in your own skin. Your version of Mystique is equivalent to the token Black friend. No, fuck the people who told her to fit in, to hide her body, to be ashamed of her identity. You put Mystique in a Black latex suit, like she needed to be contained. Like hero isn't a relative term. Mystique was always a hero to me. You wear her like a costume. I saw her like representation. I wear her like a lifestyle. You could have at least cut your hair for the part.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, can I get your scores, please? Judges.
Don't fuck it up.
Can I get your scores, please? I have 1 score. Okay. Can I get a second score? 2 scores. Can we get the 3rd score? And then 4 scores. Okay, I can read that. Boom. And then can I get my 5th score? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we almost broke the 9 barrier, but can I see all the scores again real quick? Actually, boom, boom, boom. Okay, but we have a low of an 8.5, goes to an 8.8, goes to a 9.1, a 9.1, and a 9.7. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Ooh, whoa, look at me blending in with my Mystique background. Wow, is that planned, Javi?
We're gonna get sued.
Ooh, okay, coming up on deck, we have figuring out who's gonna win. But coming up on stage right now, give it up for our last poet of the night, Reggie.
You have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. 1, if I don't have faith, I have fists. I have bone break violence. I have blood-fingered nails, a claw, a hook, an unhappening of a vein, the red poured out on the concrete, the pain, the pain, the pain, the searing, the fire, the water, the bodies left to drown in the dirt. The maggots swarm the delicious rot of skin sagging over dead muscles and tired bones so white it makes the morning worth listening to. Grief is a troublesome thief. I cry over my own corpse. I cry for the body next to it. I cry for the dirt and all the death it carries, for all the ghosts surrounded by their own unmaking, for all the Black boys surrounded by a familiar haunting, for all the blood that knows the blade that spilled it too. If Black boys are not magic, why are we so damn good at disappearing? I believe now. I truly do. I think a part of me has always known that I will die before the trick is over. My stomachs will fill with maggots before the curtains close, but damn, what a house the magician has made me. My home, made of cloth, wide-brimmed and trimmed neat, big enough to fit any corpse he's left to rot in the dark. The trick is simple. Just close your eyes, count to 3, believe in something, in anything, as long as it's not me. 3. It does not take much to believe in something. This, I know from experience. I think faith in this way is completely useless. It is easy to fall for any magician's trick, to see him pull a ghost from the hat and mistake it for a rabbit, for faith, something worth keeping, worth holding on to, for. So the magician keeps pulling the same dead rabbit out the same tired hat, and all the children are crying except for the Black boys. Do it again. Do it again. It can't be dead. Denial grabs at a young neck before grief can crawl down its throat and make a home out of rotting flesh and brittle bone. 5. An erasure. I don't have faith. I have bone. I have blood. The red pain searing the bodies left to drown in the maggot swarm. Rot of dead bones. My body carries all the ghosts all the black boys, all the blood, 6. So the space thing's gotten just a little bit complicated. What's with the rabbit? That doesn't matter. What's that supposed to mean? That doesn't matter either. Nothing in fact matters when you are staring down the barrel of a gun. There is no God that is willing to take the bullet for you. And how many times must the rabbit vanish for someone to notice its absence? How many crowds will applaud the disappearing rabbits and tricks? Gods and men, they are all the same to me. I'll stuff the magician inside his own hat if I have to. If I have faith, it is only within myself. If I have a God at all, I'll kill him with my own 2 hands. I'll bury him in his own dirt.
Give it up for the poet. Judges, can I get your scores, please? Judges, for the last time tonight, may I get your scores? I have 1 score. Can I get a second score? 2 scores. Can I get a third score? 1, 2, 3. I see 3. Can I get a 4th and a 5th? Oh, we almost broke the 9 barrier, but from a low to a high, we have an 8.5, goes to a 9.0, a 9.0, a 9.5, and a 9.8. Give it up for the poet, not the points. Okay, wow, how's everyone feeling? Ooh, feeling good, feeling great, feeling fierce. Okay.
Feeling queer.
Also feeling that, feeling however you want. So while my scorekeeper figures out who's getting 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place, and y'all thought this was just for glory, nope. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd wins money. But while my scorekeeper figures that out, I have some other shows to shout out in the Bay Area. So in this age of COVID and staying inside, we have some other virtual shows that you can see in the Bay Area. Every Monday on Instagram Live, you can catch the Santa Cruz Word Church at Legendary Collective on their Instagram. Every 3rd Tuesday at Lucas Tap Room.
Gang.
You can see the Oakland Slam. And every 1st and 3rd Saturday at the Allen Bluford Center, you can see the Rich Oak Alchemy Slam. They have an Instagram Live at Rich Oak Alchemy. You can also find the Root Slams 3rd Fridays at MLK Cafe. Not all slams have a virtual version, but keep an eye out in case, you know, our whole situation changes, gets lifted, yada, yada. I can't see this feature. I'm not Raven. I'm not that. So anyway, so do we have
a thing? This is D Soul.
Yes.
Oh, I do an open mic every Friday. If anyone ever wants to join that, just message me and I'll give you the info. But I host an open mic every Friday through Zoom.
Ooh, come on, Zoom. Okay. Perfect. Amazing. Y'all got another peek of our amazing feature, so y'all better support them. Anyway, I got our placement. So 1st place wins $50, 2nd place wins $30, 3rd place wins $20. If y'all have been here before, you know the rundown. But please, can I get a drum roll? Please feel free to unmute yourself if anyone in 3rd place. We have Reggie.
Gang.
Would you like to say something? Yes, come on, 3rd place. Fierce, winning $20.
Thank you. You just helped me buy weed in COVID. You know, support your essential medical needs.
Reggie, don't you run another show?
Oh shit! Yeah. I run the Oakland Poetry Slam and the Rich Oak Alchemy Open Mic. We are still doing shows online. You can check us out every third Tuesday on Facebook Live for the Oakland Slam. Every 1st and 3rd Saturday for the Alchemy Open Mic.
Isn't that this Saturday?
Ooh, please don't ask me that. Please tell me
It's this Saturday. It's this Saturday.
Please tell me
It's a
it's not
Saturday.
this Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
We do have an open mic this Saturday, so I guess we'll be having a list go out for that soon. Check out our Instagram at Rich Oak Alchemy for more information. We also have writing workshops every first and third Saturday before our open mic, and every first and third Tuesday through Zoom. So yeah, check us out. We'd love to see you as part of our virtual family. Yeah. And thanks for
That's my time.
Okay, in second place, please give it up for Lyrical Faith. Any words? Any words of wisdom?
Hi. I'm calling from New York City, so I really appreciate, this was my first West Coast slam, so I appreciate being here with you all. And
Gang.
yeah, and my Instagram is in my name. It's at Lyrical Faith Poetry, so feel free to follow me.
Okay, wow, give it up for Lyrical Faith. Okay, in first place, give it up, round of applause for our first place winner for the night, Chardonnay.
Where's the Marvin Gaye though? We got the Chardonnay. Where's the Marvin Gaye?
Chardonnay or Chardonnay?
Don't out people, Tino.
In the living room somewhere. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for your scores and your money. If you would like to send me more money, my Cash App is Chardonnay Thomas. My Venmo is Chardonnay-Thomas-1. The Cash App is way easier. Help me buy a toaster and a Brita filter because water bottles are expensive. And yeah, thanks again.
Don't you have like a Instagram?
I do have an Instagram. It's Healing Cool Waters. At Healing Cool Waters. I can type it or whatever.
Okay, give it up for Chardonnay, give it up for Lyrical Faith, give it up for Reggie, give it up for every poet that graced this virtual stage tonight. Give it up for yourselves for getting through the whole slam, and thank you, and thank everyone, and thank us as a collective for holding this space so that we can still express ourselves and write and really just like put that out there even at our own homes. Amazing. Okay, that's it for tonight. The stream is over. Please drink some water, hug someone that you love, whether it's virtually or in real life if you're lucky enough for that, or hug your pillow. I don't know, hug yourself. You know, self-love, important, amazing. Okay, see y'all next week where we have our amazing feature for next week. Maya Salame, come back. New host, maybe same host, who knows? Same place. Remember, 7 o'clock Zoom for the workshop next week. Bye.